So we're about a month into the season, and are we at are they playing about what we expected? Because it seems like I've seen this fish before. It seems like I've seen them play like this for the past, I don't know how many years now. Is this just is this how we expected them to play?
It's the same thing over and over again. They um, are surprisingly scoring a lot of goals. That's something that I wasn't expecting. They're scoring a decent amount of goals. They just can't hold a lead. I think it's four of the past six games or something like that. They had a two-goal lead and they lost all of them. Or it's crazy. It just makes no sense to me that a team with this many veteran players on it doesn't know how to play with a two-goal lead. So that leads me back to coaching. Are they just telling them don't change the way you play, regardless if you're winning 2-0 or losing 2-0? Because it was the same thing last season, and it's even worse this season. Up 2-0 in the third period. I mean, the other night against the Islanders, I mean, there was less than 10 minutes left when they were up by two goals, and they managed to blow that game. It's just it just doesn't make any sense. But to answer your original question, I mean, yeah, they're about where I thought they would be. Maybe a little worse, only because they can't hold a lead. But this is a fringe playoff team, and the longer that the season keeps on going here, the more I think they're not a playoff team.
Well, that's the thing. We're there's a fine line between between almost making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. This is exactly what they've done the last 2 years, almost make the playoffs, and that didn't get them anywhere. Um, yeah, this this situation where they give up leads has been going on for at least, I know this season, last season, and I'm sure it's been before that. It's an ongoing problem, and they haven't done a thing to solve it. And I don't understand this because that's the biggest. I'm pretty sure the goal is to win the game, and when you have a lead and you can't hold it, that is the worst possible scenario. And yet nothing changes. If I were them, I would pretend to be the 90s New Jersey Devils and go into a trap or something. Do something to win the game. I just don't understand how they have the same problem for years and don't fix it.
I mean, honestly, they're almost better off like not putting the top line out there after they get the two-goal lead and just playing the third and fourth line. Maybe that would help. I don't know.
Maybe.
And I mean, because at least they'll have some sort of defensive mindset. It just blows my mind. I mean, you even look back on those teams of the 90s. Now I know it's a different era, but when they had a lead, they would change the way that they played to protect the lead. It's
That's every team ever. It's like,
it's
hey, we can't play Fire Wagon Hoggy anymore. Let's I don't know, preserve the lead. What I don't know.
I feel bad for the goaltenders. I mean, honestly, I don't think Bloomquist and Nadalkovich have played bad. And Jari is going to be coming back on Sunday, I believe, and he'll probably play the game on Monday. He's 4-0 in Wilkes-Barre right now, and he has like a 1.6 goals against average. That's good, right? Those are good numbers. But if when he comes back up here, he he's going to be playing in front of a team that doesn't care about defense, that doesn't care to protect leads, and it's probably going to be the same result.
To play goaltender for the Penguins, you always had to be exceptional because I remember when Marc-Andre Fleury went to Vegas and his numbers were so much better. And they're like, what happened? Why are your numbers so much better in Vegas than when they were the Penguins? It's like, well, they actually played defense in front of me in Vegas. So,
You know,
you know,
they
it,
played it
it
structured.
in with the Penguins, you have to expect odd man rushes, breakaways, and on a regular basis. That's just how it is. So you have to be, just being good. A good NHL goalie is not good enough. You have to be exceptional to put up with all that, with the barrage of craziness that comes at you. So I don't know. I don't know. Jari coming back just does not this does not excite me. I think it's just going to be the same old thing with that dude. I think he's a lost cause.
Yeah, I mean, they're stuck with him unless he comes up with a mysterious long-term injury. I mean, they can't even trade him because, you know, I think I might have mentioned this last time. If a team wanted him, they would probably ask the Penguins to retain salary, and the Penguins can't retain salary because they're already retaining salary for three other players, and you can't retain salary for more than three players.
It would almost be like, yeah, it would almost be like trading Jari, and you'd have to probably trade a draft pick or something like that, or retain salary. It was like it's like you're almost paying people to get rid of him. Like, yeah, you're just stuck. You just yeah, hope for an injury or something. I don't know. I mean, well, they did send him down. I guess that was for an injury situation, but I wonder, how it works if they just release him. If I mean, nobody's going to pick him up, so he could just go just stay down in Wilkes-Barre. Maybe help the baby Penguins win a championship.
Yeah, I just it's a bad situation. I mean, he still has this year plus three more years. That's just
Oh,
what a terrible contract. I mean, I still like Kyle Dubas. Like I think that he's just inherited a real tough situation, but the Jari contract is definitely one I would not have done. I would have said 3 years. You get 3 years, not five. I mean, Jari didn't have many other options. It wasn't like Jari was some hot commodity that was sought after by every team out there that needed a goaltender. He didn't have many options, so I don't to give him a 5 year deal. I just don't get that.
I absolutely hated that move, and I just did not understand it. And the thinking was, well, there's no other good goalies out there. Well, okay, so what? So you're dumb. I mean, Jari in his entire career has not shown once that he's good enough to carry a team. Even he single-handedly cost the team in the last time they made the playoffs, and
Yep.
now I just didn't understand that. But what? Yeah, I mean, what you know. There's only so much Dubas can do. The Eric Carlson trade was viewed as him being a genius for getting rid of all those contracts and bringing in Carlson, but Carlson really hasn't done much. I mean, he was what, like 100 point score or something like that, and God, he's probably
He
not even
has
half that now.
he has 8 points in 14 games, and if you include the first period of the game that's going on tonight, he's a -6.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but I mean, you know, hindsight's 2020. You say, at the time it was thought of like the greatest move ever. So yeah, it just didn't work out.
They brought somebody in that's worse defensively than Chris Letang, and that's saying something. And I like Chris, but you can't have more than one Chris Letang on your team.
That's the thing. You can't now, yeah. Having one Crystal Tang, you could deal with it. Having two that play almost all the minutes,
Yeah,
you can't unless you have like the greatest defensive defenseman ever playing with them, and they don't. Grzelcyk has not been anything great so far. So
yeah. That's another thing I don't understand. The one time that you do want Carlson and Letang on the ice together is the top power play, and now Letang has been relegated to the second unit, and Grizzlick's playing in the top unit. That makes no sense.
yeah, that makes no sense. And apparently his only job is just to feed Malkin for the one timer, and like that works once in a blue moon. So but speaking of Malkin, the other big thing that's happened is they put Crosby and Malkin on the same line together. Why do you think they did this? Do you think it was because maybe Malkin can't be a second line center anymore? Or you think that's just something they wanted to do? Or like how did this come about?
I think it's for a couple reasons. One, I think at the time that they did it, Crosby was kind of in a funk. I think he had gone 3 or 4 games without a point, and Malkin was doing pretty well. Two, I actually thought they should have done this last year. I don't think Malkin can handle the the duties that a second line center requires anymore. I think that him playing on a wing has kind of actually rejuvenated him. He does look like healthier and have a little bit of jump in his step. So I actually do like the move, and I think that it's helping both Crosby and Malkin, and Raquel looks really good on that line. But the problem is you can't tell where the second line starts and the fourth line ends after that line. I mean, it's just the as somebody once referred to the baseball team in this town, a hodgepodge of nothingness from lines 2 through lines 4, and it's like pick your poison. Do you want to separate Crosby and Malkin and have them try to generate offense with guys like Michael Bunting and Bavillier, or you just put them together and have one really strong line? And I think it's good that they're together. I mean, like we said earlier, this team isn't going to win a Stanley Cup this year, so at least put those two guys together. They can generate offense still with their advanced stages, and they'll hit career milestones together, playing together, and that'll be that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what this is really all about anyway. They're not winning the cup. So
Yeah.
let them have fun. That's the whole point of this is, hey, let's bring back the band. Let's bring them back together so we can, see these great players that we loved for all these years and see them continue to play. So yeah, let them together. Let them have fun. Now, put put Letang on that line.
Yeah.
Put Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Why not? Just, let's go crazy.
Maybe Carlson could play wing. I don't
There you
know.
go. There you go. Um, but speaking of Bunting, I think he's been a major disappointment. I thought he was going to be a catalyst or like another Chris Kunitz or Hornquist or something like that. Some guy that drives the net, and he's done nothing so far. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, he's this season's Riley Smith so far. I just I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he got benched in that one game, and instead of like coming back and saying, "Okay, I better sharpen my play here, get my act together," he looks worse. The first game that he came back after being benched, he took two penalties in that game and really didn't do anything. He finally did score his first goal last game, but I mean, one goal from him. And not only that, he's supposed to be kind of like an agitator, get under guys' skin. I mean, I watched him skate right past the obvious attempt to finish a guy off the other day in the corner, and I'm going, what is going on here? This guy is supposed to be the guy that's leading your forwards and hits, and he just skated away from a clear opportunity to finish a guy in the corner. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he's lost his confidence or what it is, but I mean, they have to get him going. I mean, he's probably counted on to score 15 to 20 goals this year, and he's on pace to get about five.
Yeah. It might be. I think there's like a disease or something like that. Whenever tough, hard-nosed players come to Pittsburgh, and this has been happening since the 80s, they seem to lose that edge and want to become a 40-goal scorer or something like that. I don't know.
You're right.
Um, but is it, I mean, they got a tough stretch. They have Carolina right now, and then tomorrow night they have Washington, who is on a tear, and then uh they're uh they're at Dallas, who's always good. I mean, they're already down near the bottom of the standings. Is this could I mean, what do they say? If whatever you are near Thanksgiving, that's what you're going to end up with, or something like that. It might be the end already, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the standings, they are in seventh place in the division. And the problem is, like, you look and you're like, well, there's not that many points between the Penguins and the last wild card team. But the problem is the Penguins have played way more games than other teams. It's kind of like a weird schedule the way that this has worked out. The Penguins are playing their 15th game tonight. Carolina, who they're playing, this is only their 12th game. Uh, the 15 games leads the whole division in games played right now. So you look and you're like, okay, well, they have 12 points, and the cutoff for the wild card is probably like around 17 points. Oh, that's only a difference of 5 points, but they've played a lot more games than the other teams. So that's a problem. And if they're going to make the playoffs, they cannot lose games to the Islanders or the Flyers, who I know they haven't played yet. Uh, they got beat by somebody else earlier this year. I can't remember who they should not have lost to. Um, they can't lose those games.
Division games. You
They
just
have to
can't.
win every game. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it doesn't look like they're. I mean, it's shaping up to be a pretty long season.
Is Sullivan's job in jeopardy at all, or are we just saying, you just throw your hands up? Because we've discussed this so many times. He's not telling the players not to shoot on the power play. I'm sure he's telling them to, he's not telling them, hey guys, make sure you make lots of mistakes and give up those leads. It's they just don't listen. But at this point, is it don't even bother, just let them ride it out.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to take like a 9 or 10 game losing streak for him to get canned. I think the only thing the only indictment on him I will say is he's still trying to play the style that they played in 2017 and 2018, and that style is conducive to having the fastest team in the league. Right now, they might have the slowest team in the league, and they're still trying to play that same style, and it doesn't work. They need to go to, like what you said earlier, like trapping, win every game, 1-0, 2-0 type of style. But as long as you have Chris Letang and Eric Carlson and Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin on your team, they're never going to play that type of style, even though it's exactly what they should do. I mean, that style, you generate offense by making the other team make mistakes in the neutral zone, and then you capitalize on those mistakes. I mean, you can still generate offense from that type of style of play,
Yeah.
but it's just a refusal, and that is an indictment on Mike Salt. I don't think changing the coach is going to fix this team like that, like it has in the past, where they fire the coach and they go and win the Stanley Cup. I don't think that's going to happen if they would fire Mike Sullivan this year. I think it's just going to be it's just a pretty flawed roster, but at the same time, he needs to change the style of play that this team is playing.
The only chance they have of winning is when they play a slow team. But like you said, they're always the slow team. And when you play a fast team like the Devils or the Hurricanes or something like that, they literally skate or they skate, right around them. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's just that's a theme of this team. You just don't learn. You just, it's obvious things need to change and they don't feel like doing it. So, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that they in that locker room think, oh, look at all the talent in here. We're better than this. We'll improve. But then you got to look at the standings, and their winning percentage right now is 429. I mean, that's not good in a league where you have an available 3 points in every game. You could get that loser point even, and for 429 winning percentage isn't going to get you very far, and also a minus 13 goal differential. That's not helping either.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is, like the Islanders game, they played awesome for 2 periods.
Yeah.
Everything was great. And then it falls apart. And it always falls apart. They can never play a complete game. So I don't know. I don't know. We're just it's just
It,
why bother?
the only complete game I think they may have played this year was against the Canadians a couple of nights ago. And I mean, let's say the Canadians are terrible. They have a worse record than the Penguins. They only have 10 points. So yeah, I mean, maybe one complete game out of the 15 that you've played, and it was against one of the worst teams in the league. That's pretty bad. I mean, it just I don't. If you went and looked at last season and the game so far this season, you could probably say that they've played maybe 7 to 10 complete games out of the 100 games, last season and this season. And that's pretty bad for a team again this full of veteran players.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Oh well. You just throw your hands up. Um, so where can people find you and follow you and get more of your work?
Yeah, you can just follow me on Twitter at PGHVC, and I'm still a writing free agent right now, but I do post a lot of stuff on Twitter and X, whatever you want to call it, and you can look me up on there.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks for coming on.
All right, anytime.
All right, I'll see you.